I'm here in East Boston right now. It's currently like 30 degrees. I'm here for a very specific reason. And that reason is to take a photo right here. Last time I came here was so long ago that this building, the PlayStation 5 building, wasn't there. You can see the PlayStation 4 right here. You can see it, which is really cool. And I got my new mic, so hopefully the audio is not too bad. It's pretty windy, but I just want to say that I am here mainly because I want to start this new video of taking a photo of all the buildings. So back in 2018, I graduated high school and then went straight to college. I went to college for architecture here in Boston. So I loved how they brought us to different areas of Boston to show us the architecture all around. Show us some new architecture, old architecture, or architecture from the exterior to inside of the buildings. And the cool thing too, being in this school, is that we got to a bunch of places that you normally couldn't really go to unless you had permission like we did. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the wind is pretty strong, especially here. Being near the water is probably even stronger. But I wanted to take this photo. I am taking it with my Nikon F3 with Cinestill 400D. But I really wanted to start this video as soon as I could of just taking different photos of architecture throughout Boston, whether it's inside or outside. And I have a bunch of places in mind, but my main goal for this video was to shoot a lot of this in black and white. I know I am started with 400D. I still have about like 10 exposures left of that roll. So I'm on my way right now to a film store to pick up some black and white film. I was recommended two. It was Kodak. I think it was like Extract. I forgot the exact name. The other one was also HP5, which I have used. And if you guys saw my, I think like 2 videos ago or a video ago, when I went to the north end of Boston on the photo walk, and Pete gave me a roll of HP5, which I absolutely loved it. That wind. Slowing down a little bit, but I couldn't take it anymore. Look at that. And this is the PlayStation 4 building. If you don't know, now you know. This right here is the original building of the Boston Public Library. It was built in 1850, I believe. So the cool thing about this one right here is that this is the addition built in like 1970s, 1980s, I believe. So it was just an add-on of the original Boston Public Library, mainly to do with the size of this wasn't big enough now for Boston at that time, and especially now. So they try to mimic a bunch of the architecture that was done originally back then, but also with like a little modern twist. Oh wow. of the Boston Public Library. Take a look upstairs. You see the resemblance? Check this out. But yeah, that was the first location I wanted to stop on by. Now I'm gonna go get some food and go home because it's snowing. I'm cold and I need to buy gloves.
I just realized.
Look at my hands. They're red. But look at the camera. The camera's good. It looks really good. What are you shooting?
Pardon?
Who are you shooting? Shooting some people? Getting some
Yeah.
some photos?
Yeah.
What kind of camera is that?
It's a Nikon Z8.
Z8.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is a Nikon
F3. I had that
F3.
camera years ago.
Really?
You do a lot of shooting with
A lot of film. That's all I do right now. Yeah. Yeah. I have a digital, but I don't know. I've been kind of enjoying this a lot more, even though it's a little bit.
Yeah, the film stuff is fun, but I don't know
It's-
how you can afford it.
Oh, dude, it's expensive.
It is too expensive.
Yeah.
And my thing is, are you a street photographer?
Yeah, I'm getting
Well,
into it
your
more.
chances of getting a good shot,
Yeah, hello.
you understand, it's low.
Yeah, it's really
So,
low.
See, it's the odds.
Yeah.
I've been down here. I shot for years. Zone focus, auto focus,
Yeah.
everything. Zone focus was pretty reliable.
Really?
You know, like if you set that at, if you got a 35 millimeter lens on that,
Right.
and you set it for 6 feet or 8 feet,
Yeah.
and you try to stay 6 feet or 8 feet
Exactly.
away,
Yeah.
it works pretty good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I mean, it's a, but now, but then what you have to spend, and then even then,
Yeah.
to get a shot that
You're right.
you like, not just to get a shot.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know? And film was, I think I gave up film about 2012.
Wow. Okay.
And then I
Yeah.
used to shoot 500 rolls a year.
No.
I'm not kidding you. I used to roll my own.
I think I hit like 40 this year, and
What,
that was a
40
lot.
rolls?
40 rolls, yeah.
That's not a lot.
Dude, 500 rolls? That's a lot of rolls.
Okay, but
I give you a lot of respect for that. That's hard, yeah.
well, I would come out, but film was cheaper in those days.
Yeah,
see?
that's true.
I would come out here and I'd be in the back bay and I wouldn't leave till I shot 6 rolls of 36.
Wow, I love
wouldn't
that.
leave.
That's
My
commitment.
hands would be freezing. I'd go in there, but it taught me a lot. It
Yeah.
taught me a lot, and then I thought the dynamic range of film is excellent, but I can shoot in low ISOs and all that.
Right,
You know
exactly.
that you can't. Like there was a guy down here with the Leica last week,
Oh, I like
and I
that, yeah.
showed him some of my work before. And he was like, oh, so he says, oh, I'm hung up. But he says, I live in Dorchester. I want to see Eugene Richards' Dorchester days.
Yeah.
So I bought him over in the library last week, and I showed him around. Then I bought him in front of the Prudential.
Yeah.
But he was like awestruck looking at the people.
Yeah.
But he had a 35 on it, and he was shooting at 125th of a second, and couldn't do it unless somebody's stationary.
Wow,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Now, if you put a flash on the camera, that's going to increase your. In other words, if you use a flash,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
it's going to increase your odds.
Really?
Oh yes.
Oh, because I bought the adapter, but I just need to get the flash. I haven't bought the flash yet.
Yeah.
But I got the adapter for it.
And that the drawback of that camera is
Yeah.
the flash on the side thing there. It's
Yeah.
That's the bad thing about the F3.
Yeah, literally.
No.
That's what I have here
Yeah.
somewhere. I have a roll of also Portra
Yeah.
800.
So actually, the FE2s, the FM2s,
FM2,
they're
yeah.
better cameras
Really?
for flash.
For flash, okay.
Yeah, because they got a high flash sync at 200.
Yeah.
You can shoot 200th of a second and
Yeah.
everything. So and that's what I used to do with my Nikon.
Okay, yeah, that's a
And,
good tip. Yeah.
And then I had a Nikon. The best Nikon was the autofocus, the F5, not the F5, but the F100.
F100.
You've
okay.
heard of that?
I think so.
Legendary camera. Legendary.
Yeah.
So it had a little display like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. I think he had 5 autofocus.
Yeah. Wow.
So you could go like that and set it. And
Yeah.
you had the autofocus. You had
Yeah.
automatic rewind on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
I could more. I could do more.
Right.
See, I'm not interested in just a tradition or anything like that. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm out here. I put time and effort into
Full
it.
time too. Wow.
And yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, but a flash would like now. I got a couple of friends down here now. He shoots with that all the time.
Yeah.
And more often you use flash, but and sometimes people don't even notice it.
Yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
That's true.
You know,
Has anyone gotten mad at you for taking their photo?
Oh, all the time.
Really? What do you say? Because I've
You
gotten
have
a
to
few
develop
people.
a thick skin.
Yeah.
I mean, because the guy like there's a black guy from downtown Crossing. He's a professional panhandler.
Yeah.
And he can make tears, and he's got a scraggly little beard. He's about 6 feet tall.
Wow.
And so he used to go up to the business people and all that and say, oh, could I have $1? And then he would press for a 2 and then a 5.
Yeah.
Oh, please, I need money and all that. And he does it. So
Wow.
after COVID, things went on hard times down there, you
Right,
know,
exactly.
and all that. So now he's up here more often.
Yeah.
But he gets mad at me, you know, and he said to me, "You're not allowed to take pictures. Why don't you go up and ask people for their permission?"
Then it won't.
Like
Yeah.
that, and he goes back and forth. He says, "What you're doing isn't right." He says, "You're a pedophile." He says, "You're
Wow.
a freak." He said, "You're a pervert."
No
and then
way.
other people start turning around.
Yeah, they
And
hear
I
that.
get mad.
Yeah.
Because when you say that, people like a show.
Yeah. That's
you
a
know,
different level. Yeah.
That's a different level. So I say to him, so the last time I didn't respond to him, and I saw him the next day, and he didn't say another word.
Wow.
He didn't, but he does that. That's what he does,
Yeah.
you know. And before, I've had to say, screw, I'm going to get the cops. Have you taken your medication today? And I used to think he was schizophrenic or
Yeah,
something.
maybe, yeah.
But then it turned out, I think it depends on the drugs he's shooting.
Wow, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is that true?
You know what I mean?
That would change
And
somebody,
And I
wow.
said, for Christ's sakes, and I shot him down a few times.
Yeah.
I said, all that effort, you going around acting like that. I said, why don't you just get a job?
Yeah.
Then he says, oh, my best times when I worked in filing basement. He started talking about that was the only job he had in his life.
Wow.
But yeah, you get
Sad.
shot down.
Yeah.
And anybody, and you never can tell when it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
But the majority of things never, don't come.
Yeah.
Most people really don't.
Yeah, most people don't care, but.
Yeah, you know.
But also, you're in a public area. It's kind of like
Absolutely.
you kind of like have to.
Yeah, that is good. I mean,
Yeah.
this is. I remember I loved that setup.
I do want the F5, like you're saying, because it has the auto rewinder. It's like I feel like the closest thing to like a modern camera, not a mirrorless, but like a DSLR. It's like very similar. It's very close.
yeah.
The F5, because I mean this is the F3. I mean this is one of my. These were pretty hard to find at some point.
Yes,
and,
they are.
And then I want to get the F5, and believe it or not, F5 is cheaper than this camera. This
Yes,
camera's
it
worth
is.
more.
Yeah,
Which doesn't.
the
I don't get
F5.
how that. But I mean, I'm saving
Well, I
up.
think it was a motor drive and all that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They have two different versions of the
Yeah,
F5,
that's true.
Don't? And I, believe it or not, I had a motor drive on that at one time.
Yeah.
And it transformed the F3 the way it felt. And
Oh yeah, they
everything.
do have one. Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're pretty expensive.
I didn't want it shooting like that, but I
Yeah.
like the way it felt.
Mm.
You know, but the F3 is a beautiful.
Yeah, there's not that much grip to it. I left my my strap at home,
Yeah.
so I have to rock it this way. But I have a very similar strap to that. Yeah.
I'll tell you a movie to watch. with Faye Dunaway
Faye
and
Dunaway.
Tommy Lee Jones,
Yeah.
called The Eyes of Laura Mars.
Okay.
And she's a fashion photographer. And
Oh,
there's
really?
murders going around in New York on
Yeah.
the set. And it shows them, and it shows right inside the viewfinder, and she's got an F2AS with the
okay.
little red diodes going up and
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
That's right inside of it. And they went for tremendous money.
Wow.
You know, not an F2, but an F2AS.
Yeah.
They had the little light meter inside.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah,
would go
exactly.
Underneath the,
Yeah.
it wasn't like.